We're going to bring this meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. July 7th, 2026. We'll have Blake Johnson do the invocation and the allegiance.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you. It's such a privilege to be able to come to you in your name, Lord, and know that we're doing your work, Lord. Lord, I pray right now that you guide our conversations and guide our leadership, that we continue to seek your will in all that we do. It's just an awesome responsibility to represent God's people. And we just thank you that you give us the opportunity to be the hands and feet of our community. Lord, just continue to make our ways known and dispel all the things that are not of you, Lord. And we just continue to magnify and glorify you in everything we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have anybody for open forum?
Yes, Mayor, we have one speaker, Colleen, Gyro. Colleen, you'll have 3 minutes.
I have 3 minutes, okay. Yes. My name's Colleen Gyro. I'm familiar with some of you, not all of you. I'm concerned about the new vape store that is right next to the high school and the church. I did a little bit of research. I have talked to Cynthia about it. It sounds like some progress has been made already because the Kratom sign is now off, which is illegal according to the House Bill 114, the zero tolerance law for students. My concern has nothing to do with the law, which I realize that is when other communities come into our town and they make that turn to go into Breckenridge High School and junior high, the first thing they're gonna see is the vape shop. So to me, it's putting in an aspect of, we think it's okay for our kids to do Delta or do Kratom or vape because it's right there. And then with the church next door to it too, I just think that the place where it is at is just not a good place. It could have been 1,000 other places. Everybody has a right for a business and to make a profit. I agree with that. But location to me is key and perception is key. Cynthia said that things are in place, that there is your chapter 22 zoning code did not allow for the automatic rules for these shops. So possibly maybe the city council can vote on something to change the zoning laws or that. So that's why I'm here today. And I just wanted to let you know how I used to substitute teach. And when I saw that, I just was floored. So that's really all I wanted to say. This, and I'm not the only one that feels this way. There's a lot of people in the community that just think it's so wrong. If you move down the street, just not. That's all.
Appreciate it. Anything?
Thank you.
Well, just as you know, Mayor and Commissioners, that we can't respond. We can make statements of fact, and so, just as I did have a conversation with her, staff is looking at a zoning amendment to address that, and we will be bringing that back to you at Lower P&Z and then to you guys.
Move on to special presentations and announcements.
All right. I've got a couple swearing ins I get to do tonight. All right, I'm going to start with Commissioner Justin Rose, if he'd like to come on up. All right, so just raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money or thing of value, promise any public office or employment for the giving or withholding of a vote at the election at which you were elected, or as a reward to secure your appointment or confirmation, whichever the case may be, so help you God? All right, now repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Justin Rose,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
execute the duties
execute the duties
of the office
of the office
of Commissioner Place Two
of Commissioner Place Two
of the City of Breckenridge
of the City of Breckenridge
and of the State of Texas,
and of the State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right, next, we have Officer.
John Miller.
Yeah. I was changing this, sorry. Let me get on the right thing, John Butler. We also have Brian McBride, who could not be here with us tonight, but he is also a new officer here with the City of Breckenridge. All right, we're happy to have you, John. So if you will raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money or thing of value, promised any public office or employment for the giving or withholding of a vote at the election at which you were elected, or as a reward to secure your appointment or confirmation, whichever the case may be, so help you God. All right, and if you'll just repeat after me, I state your name.
John Butler,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
execute the duties
execute the duties
of the office
of the office
of police officer
of police officer
of the City of Breckenridge
of the City of Breckenridge
and of the State of Texas,
and of the State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and to the best of my ability
preserve,
preserve, and to the best of my ability preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God. Staff reports.
So we have, an employee of the month and, our public works director, Taylor Hardy, will present that. So if we can get Rayleigh.
Ready,
Come
come
on
on up.
Yeah, Rayleigh.
Mayor, Commissioner, it's always an honor and a pleasure of mine to give credit where credit's due. Rayleigh is outstanding. She exemplifies Breck values of being bold, being responsible, being excellent, being compassionate, and being knowledgeable. So without further ado, she's awarded Employee of the Month. I know this will just add on to her contribution to the city of what she does. And we're very thankful to have her.
And then, just if you want to.
Right, so we don't have a whole lot going on this month. We do have Citizens Academy next Monday. This will be, I believe, the eighth month. We've got one more after this, seventh. So we have one more after this, and then they'll have their graduation. So they're getting close. We also have bulk pickup on the 16th. We did put out an update today for residents that with the storm damage and things, if they would like to have brush picked up at that time as well. For public service, we'll do that. Citizens do need to sign up by Friday, and they can do that online or on our website, or they can call in and we can get them on the list. And then, of course, brush can be done free of charge anytime, as long as they're open at the convenience station with a water bill.
Is there anything planned to help with brush pickup after the recent wind and
That's-
everything?
Well, Republic Services is gonna be picking up brush when they come for bulk pickup. They'll pick up bulk pickup as well as brush.
It's, it still needs to comply with the rules, meaning
Right.
4-foot bundles and all of that.
Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there any request to remove anything? Okay. Motion to move on.
Move to approve consent agenda items 6 through 8 as presented. Second.
Okay. Okay, action items,
We have a first and a second, we're needing all in favor.
oh, vote, action items. Discussion and, any necessary action regarding resolution, 2026-18, directing publication of notice of intention to issue combination tax and revenue certifications of obligation of the city of Breckenridge, and resolve any other matters relating to the subject. We have any discussion.
So Mayor and Commissioners, on this, we've been working on this for quite a while, but what this is issuing up to 2.5 million in certificates of obligation for, a fire station. So just to remind you of some of the activities that we've done, the firefighters moved into a temporary building in February of 2025. Right now, the best option that we're looking at is by the Y. And if you remember, we replatted the Y and took out most of the land around the Y to put the fire station there. That gives them easy access to 180 and 183, and it puts them in the center of their call volume. And so right now, we're looking at, if you look at cost estimates, the modest metal building is anywhere from a 1.5 million to 1.75, and you're looking at a 5,000 square foot building at 300 to 350 square feet. And so that's where that comes from. Architect, engineering, construction oversight is usually anywhere from 16 to 20% of the building cost. So that's going to be anywhere from 288 to 360, and then the financing costs. So that's what we're looking at, and you have a schedule there in your packet for what the schedule would be, and that's what this is. Resolution is.
I move to approve resolution 2026-18, directing publication of notice of intention to issue combination tax and revenue certificates of obligation as presented. Second.
Second.
Move to a vote.
Yes.
Oh, you approve it? Second.
We've got two ayes as well.
Aye.
I've still got some questions on this. So what is gonna happen with the YMCA?
What's going to happen with the YMCA? At this point, we don't know. I mean, we would love to see someone buy and invest in that.
And so if you place the fire department around the YMCA building, what's that gonna limit? Won't that limit the ability to get in and out of that building?
There is room around the YMCA, so we allowed room on the side and to the back. And to the back of the property, there is going to be used for parking, basically for employees for the fire department. And so, you know, there could be, depending on what happens with that building, there could be an there could be an agreement made to allow for parking in that space. There is parking on the street, so I mean, it'd be great to sell that building, but we would need to do a sealed bid on that. We have not done that yet.
And the certificates, according to this right here, is for what, 2.5 million?
Up to,
Okay. So the city would be responsible for, I guess it says the certificates to be authorized on time is in full of 3.4.
I'm sorry, say that again?
So it says the estimated combined principal and interest required to pay off the certificates to be authorized on time at the full 3.402, 3.4 million, correct?
That would be principal and interest, yes.
And how long? Oh, 2046.
Yeah.
What kind of payment are we looking on that? You have any idea?
It's in your background information. Let me go back there. It is. If you'll see that tax impact statement. It's 188,181 for year one. So you got the schedule there. It's basically about 188 for the next 20 years.
So 180,000 for the next. Mhm. Principal and interest. Quite a bit.
And that gets folded into our debt rate.
Mhm. Yeah, but I was looking up here and it said that. Well, it's gonna raise from what, no, that's not. Okay, so it says current principal of all outstanding obligations is 21 million. And. The obligation of the city on the time of the full is in 29, so surely it's not gonna raise it 8 million.
I'm sorry.
In the same paragraph under here where it talks about the 3.4 million, this current principal and outstanding debt obligations to the city is 21, the current combined principal and interest required to pay all outstanding debt is 29. Surely this one thing isn't gonna raise it $8 million, correct?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
From what I read it as is this, the 21 million does not include interest. That's probably just the principal. So you 21 million from other outstanding debt plus interest plus this 3.4 is that 49. I could be wrong, but that's the way I read it. You see that, yeah, it says that the current principal of all outstanding debt was 21.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's showing the brown principal and interest to pay that off is up to 29.
Correct. Yeah, because the 21 does not include the 4 million of interest.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. I'm done.
Where did we get the square footage number that you said is $350
This is
per square foot? That's what
the 5,000. Where did we get that?
the square footage cost on that building. You said
It's the going rate right now. We're talking with our engineers, just doing research. It's 350 for commercial buildings.
What's gonna happen with this, the current fire department and the metal building that's out there, some of their trucks right now?
The temporary,
Right.
we would sell that. I mean, that's what we would propose.
Their current housing, is that what you're referring to?
The temporary buildings,
So not the old fire department, their current housing.
right,
the
the
temporary.
temporary building. What we had talked about prior was selling that once we're done with that.
And then what about the bays over there where they're keeping their current equipment?
We would keep those for storage because we also replatted the fire station. So just as a reminder, I mean, there was a lot of conversation over the last 2 years on what was going on with the existing fire building, fire department. The ad hoc committee wanted to actually recommended demolishing it. We had, and commission agreed to it at first, and then, there was conversation, and so they decided to keep it, but then they decided that they're not going to build and it's not feasible. So we have put that up for a sealed bid. We didn't get any. We have listed it again as a sealed bid for the fire department. And if we get bids, we will bring that back to commissioners.
So the current bays, is that gonna be used for general storage for the city or for the fire department?
Just general storage.
So we're not gonna sit there and separate fire equipment and the fire department. So the plan is to move every bit of it over there.
Yeah,
bays and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to move to a vote. Ayes. Discussion and any necessary action regarding approval of resolution 2026-17 submitting application of financial assistance from Texas Water Development Board's WSIG Water Supply and Infrastructure Grant Program.
So, commissioners, this is a grant that we are, asking for, permission to submit for. It's a water supply and infrastructure grant. It is a full 100% grant, which is good news. Just as a review, the TWD projects that we have now are the DW and CW SRF, and those are approximately 8 million. 5 million, we're paying back, 3 million is loan forgiveness or grant. And then we have another one for 5.7 million, and 4 million is the grant, we're paying back 1.7 million. This would be up to 10 million, and it would be 100% grant, so that grant is.
Anybody got any question?
That's actually good.
I'll move to approve, 2026-17 as presented.
I second.
All in favor? Discussion on any necessary action regarding approval of ordinance 2026-10, updating the schedule fees. This is the second reading.
So this is the second reading, and pretty much what is in this is the trash rates. We're in contract with Republic on this, so that's what you see there.
I move to approve the second reading of ordinance 2026-10, updating the schedule of fees as presented.
A second. All in favor? All against?
No.
No. Discussion and any necessary action regarding approval, or actually, we're gonna be tabling this.
Can we, I'm sorry, can we get a clarification on this?
So that was, raise your hand if you were aye, and raise your hand if you were nay.
So
Can't do.
we're in a contract with Republic. So, how do you propose what do you propose we do?
And this is the second reading.
Right, this is the second.
I know it wasn't
so-
y'all, but the other guys, we all approved this.
So we can violate the contract, or we can pick up the cost, which we didn't budget for.
Okay, but I'm not for raising the city, the water bills. So this may be a cost we have.
I'm sorry?
This may be a cost that we have to fund because I'm not for raising garbage, trash, and I'm not for raising the bills. I think we've done enough of that.
We'll have to find it in the budget. It's not, wasn't budgeted.
I understand.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on to, number 12, we'll have to move.
Can we discuss that a little further or something? Like,
There's a change or something.
yeah, like, what do y'all propose to do? You don't have like a better idea, like what is the path forward?
I mean, we're gonna have to locate it somewhere. I don't think that we need to continue raising the water bills. I don't think we need to continue raising trash. I understand that this is a contract we've done with Republic, but I'm gonna have to know more about it personally. I didn't look at this to begin with.
Do we know, can you summarize like the changes maybe, or like? What
Well, the
are you
changes-
looking at?
Weren't that much. I mean, there was, when we approved the contract with Republic, there was a scheduled, rate of increases, and it really is near CPI. So I believe it's about 3.5%, but when you look at it, the current rates. These are the old rates, so.
I mean, for ballpark, say it's $50 a month for trash. This new rate will be $52.
See, so it's 17, it went from 1704 to 1762.
62, yeah, it's not, and that's everything, one poly card is 1762. Right now it's 1704. If you have two poly cards, right now it's 2556 and it's going to 2631. If you have three poly cards of 3408, it's going to 3474. So again, what that actual, not everybody has, three poly cards or two sign cards. It's going to be different for everybody.
So for clarification, this motion is only for, these,
But the entire.
right, but as far as changes,
It's just updating the schedule of fees for the trash rate.
that's what, yeah.
Does this not include the one down here for the? Yeah, section orange of the business as well.
There's also changes to which is where we included the country club rates.
Oh, yeah, I'm
And
sorry, the
the-
country club rate was also included on
And
that.
the
You
fee
guys
for
voted
sexually
on that,
oriented. Fee for sexually oriented.
and the fee for sexually oriented.
Yeah,
Everything in red.
Yeah,
So,
okay, yeah.
Everything red. So what,
everything in red was either added or changed.
so what is the current? What does the country club pay as of right now?
Well, going back to that happened about 2 months ago. We were not, charging the country club. They were getting their, they were being charged a rate directly from, the water district and West Central Texas Municipal Water District. And, essentially, you have to, whether it's us or the municipal water district, you have to charge a class of rate, and they were not doing that. So they were paid, and I don't have it memorized, but they were only paying 25, what we're charging them, what is that? They were paying, 25 cents per 1,000 gallons. And the municipal water district came back and said, we've got to charge you a class. It went up. So basically their water bill is going to go from around 450 to 2,000 a month. Depending on how much they use. So, I met with, and actually at that point, Will Thompson was representing us on the water district, as was another gentleman, and still is. I met with the, municipal water district executive director. We met with the country club and we brought it to the commissioners. And essentially there is a point of contact for them to take water. We're now providing it, we're charging them, and we're charging them this rate. And it allows them to stay in business.
Hey, but how many polycards do you think we have? The citizens are paying for?
We have, there's about 2,400 customers, but water customers, but I'd have to look and see how many. It doesn't necessarily correlate to trash customers, but it's in that ballpark.
So if you have 2,400 and you're telling me this is roughly 50 cents a card. 2,500, so it'd be $1,250 increase for that part.
Well, so if,
Yeah.
just, we'll have to find that money, on a monthly basis.
Right.
Annually, I would have to have, I can't give you that impact for the vote that just took place. I'd have to calculate it.
But wouldn't the fee from the country club more than cover that if we don't raise the water bill? Wouldn't this kind of offset it?
I'm sorry, what are you proposing?
So if you don't, I'm saying that if you don't raise the fee on the poly carts, because you're telling me we have 24 customers, I rounded it to 2,500.
Okay,
You're telling me it's roughly 50 cents going up per cart, per one cart. That's $1,250, correct?
okay.
A month. But if we're now, you're telling me that if we start charging the country club, this fee is going to be roughly $2,000. That would offset the cost of the poly carts.
It should be only 400. She was saying if we didn't give them this special rate, it would be about.
Oh, about 2,000.
We're keeping their rate,
But I misunderstood that.
we're trying to help them keep their doors open by not raising.
Yeah, this is
the
a per thousand. I mean, I have all the documentation that we had 2 months ago, and I don't have it in front of me, but what? But I can get that for you, but, that's just per 1,000 gallons. I mean, they use 19,000 a month.
So this is going to be a set fee, basically. The 138 plus 25 cents per 1,000 gallon. And
It's gonna be 25 cents per 1,000
correct,
gallons.
you're
And
saying,
the minimum, but there's a minimum monthly fee of 138.90.
correct.
So they'll, even if they don't use it like in the winter months, they would be paying a
And so
minimum,
based on this fee, it's about $400 a month.
roughly, it's close to.
That part. Yeah, I know. I got it.
We want to take a revote?
Yeah. Or, yeah, might as well.
All in favor? All against?
No, I'm not against it.
You're against, nay.
No.
Next one, we need to move to table number 12. Discussion and any necessary action regarding approval of new gen rate study recommendation for water, wastewater rate increase.
Yes, they're not ready to present, so we're asking that you all table that till August.
Move to table item number 12 to the August 4th, 2026 meeting.
I second.
All approved? Workshop items. Presentation of the FY 2026-2027 preliminary budget.
Okay.
I'll use the line.
There you go. Okay, so this is, I've discussed, given a preview on this, it's on our website. Just reviewing, first of all, just remember, this is preliminary values, so we don't get certified values from the appraisal district until July 27th. So, this is what we have to create a budget based on the preliminary values. So, I do like to always review our strategic plan. That is what this budget is based on every year. We talk about the strategic plan. We start talking about the budget and strategic plan, in February and March of each year. Reviewing where we've been, what we've done, what we still have to do, and, getting feedback from you on what the priorities are for this next budget year. So those things have, taken place. Just review of our core values, and it's Brett, be bold, be responsible, be excellent, be compassionate, be knowledgeable. The strategic plan, we kept it simple, as you remember, many of you were here, many weren't actually, so it is somewhat new, I guess, but we kept it simple. Invest in infrastructure, invest in employees, invest in beautification, promote economic development and tourism, and promote transparency and communication. So pretty much every dollar we spend comes back to those items. And the reason why and the importance of connecting the strategic plan to the budget is basically it helps us to collect clear targets, set clear targets and expectations. It prioritizes limited funds. We have very limited funds, so it prioritizes that. It keeps us on track of working the plan and reduces conflict over competing demands. And it helps promote a unified approach to funding priority in the budget. So the budget process, I mean, this is just an overview. I mean, we start meeting, as I said, in February and March. We review the strategic plan. We get the preliminary values from CAD in April. From that, we have already started talking with the department heads and with you all, and the department heads start developing their department budgets. And we meet with each department and go over those needs and refine everything based on the input that we get in the strategic plan. We present a budget based on preliminary values. We file that with the city secretary. We get certified values, and then we present tax rate, the budget, and public hearing notices. And that is all according to state statute. So the no new revenue rate, just reminding you, the no new revenue rate, these are terms that we talk about a lot, truth in taxation. Basically, that is the same amount of revenue that you would have from the prior year. The voter approval rate, if you remember, cities used to be able to go over, it used to be called the effective rate, but now it's the no new revenue rate. So you could go over that by about 8%. And now we can only go over that by 3.5%. So we have what is called the voter approval rate. And that is essentially 3.5% above the no new revenue rate. The de minimis rate is only for cities under 30,000. And essentially that's adding $500,000 onto the no new revenue rate M&O. And then this is all from the Texas Tax Code, Chapter 26. So based on the preliminary values right now, where we have the budget set, the proposed tax rate is 103,998. Last year's tax rate was 1.02893, so it's a little over a penny increase.
Question
You
real
can
quick.
see, yes,
On that note, and you may have it, I may just be beating you to it. I believe like the average household is valued at like 140,000 or something like that.
105 actually.
105. So what does that increase mean to the average house
$14.
per year?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
And again, this is based on preliminary value.
Right.
So we have to create a budget based on these numbers. The goal is that these are conservative, and so when the certified values come in, it's a better picture. And we can actually lower that. But then all of these rates will change. I mean, the no new revenue rate will change, the voter approval rate will change, all of them will change. Right now, based on the preliminary values, the no new revenue rate is 1.02138. So this increase of 0.1 is actually over last year's rate, not the new revenue rate, just for clarification. The voter approval rate is 1.08, 510. The debt rate right now is 0.25, 482, and the de minimis rate is 1.21790. again, all these values will change. This is a graph I do like to show. It just shows you the certified values history. All of these are certified values except for that last column, and that is the preliminary value. So last year, our certified value was 312, and this year, the preliminary value was 318. So you can see from this graph, I mean, as the values increase, I mean, the tax rate should go down, and that is pretty much what you see on this 10-year. If you look at, you know, the prior chart and this rate, generally you're seeing that go down. So it's a 10-year tax rate history. I do want to talk about the funding challenges, and there are many. We have our audit is up 30%, legal fees, general fund and municipal court are up 30%. Chemicals, and we use those in public works, those are up 20%. Fuel costs, I mean, 10% plus, and that fluctuates. They were higher, you know, it does fluctuate, it's coming down a little bit, but still up. Workman's comp and building insurance, there's a little bit of an increase. When I put this together, we hadn't gotten the final numbers from our from TML IRP, but we have now gotten them, and they're probably up about 5%. Some are up, some are down. Supplies across the board, whether it's admin or public works, or police or fire, supplies are up 10 to 20%. One big unknown that we do need to be aware of, and this happens every year, we are taking steps to try to get this information prior to having to set the budget. But employee health insurance, will be a substantial increase. So we met with our insurance folks, and he is a broker and he does a great job. He shops all over for us. But by and large, not only is just industry wide is there an increase in employee insurance, but we also have a substantial loss ratio percentage. So that is one of the reasons why it's going up. We don't know what that number is, but it could be to the tune of, you know, $200,000 budget. I mean, and then just generally, I mean, the CPI, I mean, it has come down a couple of years ago, that was 7 and 8%. But it is still 3%. So everything is increasing. So this is the chart, Commissioner Hamilton, you were referencing, but what this does, it just takes that average value, what the tax rate was last year, average taxes at the 105, 268 value is 1083. The average value, using that average value and the tax rate of 1.03998, it would be 1095. I said 14, it's actually 12.
Yeah.
Better. And this, the good news, but it's a double-edged sword, is our sales tax are up. Sales tax collections are up, and what you see there is, that last column is just year to date. And actually we're 2 months behind in getting those figures. So I do project that we could be at about, we estimated 2.3 million and we could be at 2.6. Now, keep in mind, we only get up half of that. A quarter of that goes to lowering property tax, a quarter goes to our streets, and half of that, of 1%, goes to the EDC. So the city gets 1%, and that's how the other 1% is broken down. So 2,600, that would be 1.3 million in the general fund budget. This is the debt that we are paying right now. And these are just our payments. The other figure that you referenced earlier, Commissioner Rose, was our entire debt. These are our payments, and the ones in red are paid out of general fund. The ones in black are paid from water, wastewater. And when I made this chart, the to be determined on the fire station, that was still to be determined. We do have a tax impact statement that you guys have in your background information, and that's pretty accurate, but I didn't have that when I made this chart. Now just going through some graphics. You guys have the line item budget, but going through the staffing, we have 68 employees, and you can see how it's broken up. And it's not unusual that about half of the staff is public safety. And that's what you see here between police and fire. Right now, we have about 3 vacancies. We have been, over the last 3 years, we have made progress in what we pay our employees, and this allows us to retain our employees and attract new employees. So, it does show from our vacancies. When I first got here, we had vacancies of 15, 17. We're doing much better. Our financial picture, we're in much better financial condition than we have been in years past, and you can see what that is. Our general fund balance, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that we only had, $500,000 in our fund balance for general funds, and now we're at 2.2 million in our fund balance. So that speaks to several things, but we are in a solid position. You should, best practice is that you have anywhere from 4 to 6 months operating expenses. Our operating expenses are approximately over 5 million. You divide that by 12. 1.7 is 4 months of operating expense in general fund. And we have 2.2. If we had 2.7, we'd be at 6 months operating expense. Same in our water and wastewater. Those are both different funds. And as a reminder, those are user fee. So in your water and your wastewater, they should fund themselves. So they should, the user fee should cover all the operations, maintenance and operations, expansions, repairs, everything. And we're doing, we're doing much better on that. A couple of years ago, 4 years ago, we were paying for water and wastewater debt out of the general fund, and that is never a good idea. We need to make that those funds self-supporting. But when you look at the water fund balance, you can see how far we've come in the last several years. We're at 2.1, and the operations are about 3 million, and so we're at that 4 to 6 months operating.
Question. This money that is sitting in these funds, is it generating revenue? Is it in money market, or is there certain restrictions to where it's not?
Yeah, not a big investment fund, no.
But are we getting some sort of return on it?
Yeah, but not a big.
Like a 3% though, maybe? 3%, maybe? Okay. Good enough.
And then, our employment, do we have, I guess our salaries are there, or our, what do we call it? Like, I guess it's called salaries. Do they compete with the surrounding cities around us? Are we able to compete with them?
Well, we've made progress, but no, we're still behind the 8 ball. Of the average, and what we do is we look at, TML does salary surveys.
Yeah.
So we look at cities that are similar in population, similar geographic location, similar in proximity to other cities.
Yeah.
To see where we're at. But when you look at that, we're still under the 50% mark. But we're gaining ground, I would say,
Okay.
but we're still under.
Okay.
And that's because, for the last 4 years, employees have had a raise. It's either been 3 or 4%. But prior to that, it was 5, 6, 7 years, and they went without a raise. When I got here, there were some people making $13 an hour in public works.
When I got here, water department started at 10.
Yeah. Yeah,
So we are progressing.
we are. Yeah, with y'all support, like I said, those strategic plan, those goals, investing in our employees, we've made progress. And this is the wastewater fund. Again, we're doing well there as well with 1.9 in our fund balance. And we are, so I know there's sometimes like, well, why are you just holding on to that money? Well, you want to have enough for a rainy day because it wasn't that far back. And Diane remembers because she tells me that, we went out and borrowed money for payroll. Like 7 years ago, wasn't that long ago. So we were nowhere near that and we don't want to be. So, but at the same time, on the water wastewater side, we have brought some expenditures to you, capital expenditures, one time, not ongoing expenses. And we brought a couple of those to you. We previewed this, we'll be bringing another one for dump trucks because we need a dump truck as well. So we're gathering information on that and pricing on
I have
that.
a question. So on the water and wastewater, are they designated specifically for water and wastewater only, or can these funds be transferred out?
They're dedicated to water and wastewater. Although there are some transfers from water and wastewater to pay for admin expenses and to pay for IT and, stuff that, insurance and things that we pay. If you look at what admin does, we do a certain percentage for that as well on the admin side. This next graph is basically, you're comparing all funds. So this is our general fund, water, wastewater, sanitation fund. And these are, the revenue over last year. And there's really not a lot of change. You see their, sales tax, property tax is pretty steady. Sales tax, is, up a little bit. Projected to be up a little bit. The water fund, you can see, is actually down a little bit. And this is based on the 26-27 preliminary budget numbers, which you will see here in a minute. And the reason, and I'll get into that more when I get to that slide. This one, an off-fund revenue, this shows you where that revenue is coming from. So 22% of our revenue comes from property tax. 20% comes from sales tax. You've got hotel motel in there, you've got fines, fees, licenses and permits, and that's franchise fees as well. And then you've got just miscellaneous, and that's 7%, by the way, 1% in miscellaneous. The water fund is 27%, the wastewater 17%, and then sanitation is 5%. The general fund, just looking at the general fund, where that revenue comes from, you see that 44% is property tax and 39% is sales tax. And then you have the hotel motel miscellaneous and the fines, fees, license permits, that's about 15% of the revenue. And on the expenditure side, by function, this is where you see, again, half of the budget goes to public safety, to police and fire. Municipal court there, you've got facilities at 2%, administration is 11%. Non-departmental is 23%, streets 10%, and public services 8%. And this is the same thing on the wastewater fund expenditures. So by department, got collections and distribution is 21%. The water treatment plant is 21%, wastewater treatment plant is 10%. Non-departmental is 39%, lake handle is 1%, admin is 8%. And admin on that would be, utility billing and public works director. So in the new budget, I mean, what are some of the new expenditures? Not new, but I mean, some of the bigger expenditures that I want to highlight. We did include a 2% increase right now. And that represents about $187,000. The fleet maintenance, that's an ongoing cost, and that's $200,000.
Is that a yearly cost on the fleet maintenance?
I'm sorry,
That yearly cost, is that a yearly?
on the fleet maintenance?
Yes,
Yes,
that's every year. And that's the entire city fleet, correct?
that's the entire fleet. Now, we already have some in there, so that expense is, that's not the entire expense. So we have to get that figured for you. But that's how much we have to budget this year. And it's usually about that much. This year, it's been in our strategic plan. We haven't funded it, and I would just remind you, we've been very strategic in not recommending a lot of new positions in 2019. 2020 is my understanding, we cut probably 7 to 9 positions, and that was in parks, cemetery, public works. I mean, that was across the board. Police, admin, and we have not added those positions back. The only positions we've added since I've been here, because we've been really trying to focus on bringing pay raises up, is animal control position that we added. And then we were finally able to add a code enforcement officer. And, you know, we had one person doing 3 jobs, and now we have one person doing 2 jobs and one person doing 1. So Malcolm was our fire chief, building inspector, and code enforcement officer. And so when we brought Jay on 2 years ago, you know, took a little bit off of Malcolm, and I mean, we were actually able to do, I mean, we could keep 3 code enforcement officers, but Jay stays busy, I'll just say that. So, but this, you know, in our strategic plan, we did talk about a Main Street coordinator. It's promoting economic development and tourism. To be eligible for Main Street grants, you have to have a full-time position. We used to have one in Breckenridge, and they cut that out, I don't know how long ago, quite some time ago. So that is in this current budget. Staff is proposing to add that position. Again, it will leverage some grant dollars for downtown and just development in general.
So this is required for certain grants to be,
I'm sorry?
so this position is required for certain grants for the
Yeah.
downtown area?
Yes. You're required to have a full-time position to get grants from Main Street. Employee insurance, again, that is to be determined. So depending, I mean, what happens with the certified values will determine, I mean, some of these things, even if you don't say cut them, we may have to cut them anyway. And really, the only discretionary funding that we have in the budget is the 2% increase in this position. And depending on what the certified values are and what those final numbers come back as, you know, so there's a lot up in the air. The point being, there's just a lot up in the air right now. We do still cover that cost for the downtown worker. It's a contract worker, EDC. For those of you who are new, used to cover that. And they just determined not to cover that, and the city commission picked that up, last year and kept it in the budget, this year as well. We had a hard time, I will say, we had a hard time finding somebody to fill that position. So it was unfunded for quite a bit of the year, this year. But we do have someone now, and they're doing a great job, and, it is making a difference in our downtown.
What are the exact duties of this work?
They clean the downtown area. So they, empty the trash down there, they sweep. Just keep it, we've got the, we call it the place to be, but, that area, they clean that area. Foundation Park, if there's, paper there. We basically brick to brick. Any other questions on that before I move on? So this is, excuse me, this is our general fund. And what this is, it's the first part is the revenue. And these are the sources of our revenue, and it shows you what it is for the current year, what we're proposing for this year, for next year, and then what that difference is, and then the general explanation. The property tax, basically, that's that top line item. You can see that difference right there is 164, licensing for permits, sending to the 1,000, charges for service, is 3,000. And you have your line item budget that you were given, and this is online as well, the charges for service. I mean, that covers things like oil and gas inspection, zoning applications, cemetery, service fees, that's where we get the county, dollars we get from the county in participation in created fire and dispatch. That's what that is. And franchise fees, fines and penalties. There's only $1,000 increase in franchise fees. 19 in fines and penalty, and a lot of that is municipal court. And the other revenues, miscellaneous revenues. So like for this year's insurance reimbursement for claims. That's what the majority of that is. Then you see the expenditure line item and by department. City Commission, you can see we have made a few changes this year. City manager, there used to be 2 positions in the city manager department, and now there's 1. Lacey Boss was promoted to, she was an assistant to the city manager, and she was promoted to assistant city secretary. So now you see city secretary as a department. So when you see the differences there, that's primarily what you're looking at. The public works director, I could take that out, but they used to fund that in the general fund, and we put that in the water, wastewater funds. Finance, accounting, I mean, you can see there's not a lot of increase, primarily is going to be, salaries, and, in the police department, it's contractual services. In development code, that is where the, Main Street coordinator would be housed. So that's 2 positions. So that is our code enforcement officer and if we hire that position. Animal services, you see that increase. Municipal court, I mean, there's a $7,000 increase that's going to be the municipal court judge, which we did pay last year, but it's primarily legal fees. A little bit of salary in there. Fire, you see a little bit of an increase, and that's salary. We do, in all of these, we do budget for overtime. The cemetery, there's a decrease, and that's because last year there was a new mower that was purchased. and parks, there's been some cuts and one of them, like for instance, one was a replacement of a mower deck. Streets, there's a decrease in there, as well. Last year, we had the hydraulic, in this current year, we do have a hydraulic study, in there. And non-departmental. And then if you go, any questions on that? If you go to the water department, the same stuff, the top half is the revenue, on the charges for service. You will see that there's a $245 difference there, and these are all, when you're looking at revenue, you're looking at the trends, you're looking at history and what we actually, the water we sold, you're looking at stuff like that. So I will say this current year, we overshot, I think, on the revenue, and we have had a very wet year this year, so we're not selling as much water. So I think we're gonna see, I think we're gonna have shortage this year in our water department. We overshot the revenue, and on the water side, there's been a lot of expenses that we did not budget for. So on this one, what I did, I just took that, the revenue down just based on this year's, just to make sure that we're not overshooting it again. And then, so overall, I mean, the revenue, for instance, this year is 3 million and next year is gonna be 2.7 million. On the expenditure side, overall, the expenditures are 2.8 this year, which leaves us a little bit of room of 125,000 for this year, but we have definitely spent that with the expenses that we had on our water side, the lift stations, some of the things that we've had to do that were not budgeted. And then this year, again, revenue is 2.763 and the expenses are 2.734. So there's a little bit of a cushion. In that cushion, if it's not expended, it goes to the fund balance. So it's unallocated, it's budgeted but unallocated. And you can see, I mean, the water treatment plant is basically, there is an increase in that, and that is just the different improvements that we're doing at the water treatment plant. In all of these, we talk about in each budget for the water treatment plant, the wastewater treatment plant, and water collections and distribution, we do allocate money for system improvements. So this year, between those three departments, we do have $170,000 budgeted for system improvements. But that is actually down from last year. Last year, we had 246 system improvements. Part of the reason we're doing that is because now we do have our TWDB projects coming online and they are underway. So that is helping us. If you go to the wastewater fund, the revenue, we really didn't change that much on the revenue side. And it's 1.712, basically a $500,000 difference, decrease, not much. On the expenditure side, it did go up, but our cushion last year was much larger, and cushion this year is not as much. So, but we still are under, I mean, we keep our expenses under our revenue. So, again, some of this is a repeat, but what's in the fiscal year is, we always, again, want to tie it to that strategic plan. So right now, the tax rate would go from 1.02893 to 103,998 on the property tax side. There is a 2% increase for all employees. Again, trying to bring them closer to the market.
Is that 2% automatic or is that-
About 187, that's goal 2 of our strategic plan.
Is that 2% automatic or is that based off of evaluation?
We do evaluations, we do evaluations, so it is, we put COLA merit. But I will say, practically speaking, over the last 4 years, it's been almost an automatic. Because their salaries are so low. But we do annual evaluations, and our evaluations, the way we view those evaluations, is unfortunately, a lot of people see it as, not productive, but we have really changed our MO in evaluations, and it's a communication tool. It communicates what our expectations are. It promotes communication between the supervisor and the employee. You know, they should not be surprised by anything on that evaluation. If they're getting marked down, they should already know they're getting marked down. Because they've had a conversation with their supervisor about where the performance was not meeting the expectation. So we use it as a tool really to try to improve our reports. Okay, there's still a significant funding for public works systems. I mean, prior to me getting here, we didn't spend that much on system improvements on an annual basis. So even though it's only 170,000, it's certainly much more than it was, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. So it's significant and it needs to be, our system needs an investment in it to keep it going. And it's just expensive, unfortunately. Our vehicle replacement program is 200,000, and that's goals 1 and 2. Our BEDC, downtown contract worker, it's 10,000, that's goals 3 and 4. General fund debt, the street, parks, public works facilities, and then goals 1, 2, and 3. General fund debt for the fire station is goal 2. Water, wastewater fund debt, and is goal 1, and wastewater treatment as well. Again, significant funding for contract mowing and Consolas Creek maintenance. Because we have had an increased use of clients from the facility north of us, it has benefited us greatly, and we've been able to shift those funds to when we have people that don't mow their grass, for example. Then we have to go mow the grass and we have to place a lien on it. By and large, we don't see a return on those funds. I mean, we've got a lien on the property, but that's money that's out. But it helps with the mowing around town. And again, the full-time Main Street coordinator. And that is, and just to be clear, I should have said this earlier, the 63,000 is not, that is salary plus benefits. So that's goals 3 and 4.
On the contract mowing and the Consolas Creek maintenance, you don't have a price beside it. How much is that? You have a number for it?
It's about, I want to say it's about 30 to 50,000. Yeah.
Didn't we use goats for that one point in time to help clean up that riverbed, the Consolas Creek?
Yeah, it didn't work
Yes.
well.
Didn't work.
It is.
When they don't eat the stuff.
On the, yeah, they don't, on the bamboo, there is such a specific timing of when that's edible. They won't, I mean, they won't eat it. And then, if you're also trying to spray it, it didn't work well.
Question, when did that bamboo stuff even, like,
I think it's been there for a long time. It's just hard to get rid of.
like who put bamboo there? Like,
Well, that.
like, that's just.
Now,
crazy.
you've been here for
It's naturally occurring, it washes in from rain from other tanks and ponds, that's just It's just what happened.
Oh, all the way from China?
Well, it's actually, cattails.
How much of that number has the Walker Cell inmates cut down costs on?
Well, quite a bit, but I mean, what we've done again is we're doing more mowing. I mean, when we give notices for non-mowing, right, and then we go, we're doing more of that. And we get complaints on that on a daily basis. But again, it's money that theoretically, I mean, we're placing a lien on the property and we'll get it sometime, but I mean, a lot of times, I mean, we're not seeing, that money's not coming back. So we are increasing our mowing for those properties that are not.
What would be the,
So that goes to promoting beautification.
so like, could you give me like a rough estimate of a percentage of how many lawns that have not been mowed or?
Well,
Just-
Jay, Jay's here, good.
We're on that number 20 this year.
Yeah, we mowed about 20 lawns this year so far.
And those are just the ones on Main Street that people see and
Yeah,
complain about the most.
I mean, we try to,
Then work back out towards the outskirts of town more.
What was it last year? Like,
It's been about the same every year. We usually end up about 40 to 50.
okay,
How much? Are we paying a contractor to go mow these? Okay, how much does it cost us per mow?
It's averaging about 75.
Okay.
And it could be anywhere from 50 to 200, but it's probably averages around $75.
some of these lots are bigger.
They are, and those are the ones that get up around 200 sometimes. And we take bids on them. We don't just get one person. We got 5 contractors for bid on every time, and we take the lowest bid. And the prices have actually come down this year. For some reason, I don't know why, it got more competitive. But they've gotten any less this year.
And then when these are cut with a contract like this, there's some kind of lien based on property or sensitive.
There's a bill sent out to the property owner. If the property owner does not pay that bill, then there is a lien filed on the property itself, sir.
But how many liens do we collect on?
There's been a few this
There's
year,
been a
actually.
few. that have
A
actually-
few, but not many. I
There's
mean,
a
the
couple this year.
majority of them are not collecting back. We're not. So.
so pretty much we put a lien in hoping that they'll pay. So we're like putting a lien on the property hoping that they.
Well, a lien is if they sell it,
Right,
then, you know, we can collect at that point, but, you know, there may be other people that are, you know.
Yeah.
As if they sell it, and then there may be other creditors.
Right.
That you're competing with.
Our biggest issue we run into is deceased owners of property.
Deceased owners of property.
right, or absent.
If you remember, I mean, 25% of our housing stock is vacant.
Right,
That's
Yeah.
a large percentage.
and it does cost the city. In finding, the people who own those properties.
Well, Jay spends a lot of time.
Done a lot of research, found a lot of people. There's a TLO program that we put in the expense for that I can find phone numbers and everything, and I try to do my best to find someone. But there's times where you run into where the deceased parent has passed away, the property's still in that deceased parent's name, and no one else comes up to even claim it or anything, so there's not any other thing to do than to help out the neighbors or stuff like that, just put it under, contract to mow it to get it cleaned up to where the neighbors are not dealing with rats and things like that, so.
And it's not a fast process.
So the
Yeah, I
process to
think
get
so.
from the bids in and then get a contract mowed and stuff, it takes a while to do all that.
It's not like you see on TV, the first episode was done, no, it takes months, so I see that. Well, thank you for doing it.
If there's any other questions, I mean,
Uh,
throwing a lot at you, I've met with some of you, I'm happy to meet with you and answer questions,
I do have question, I want to kind of backtrack a little bit on it. Legal fees are going up. Now, are we paying a retainer and do we have a contract with our city attorney?
We have a city attorney, yes.
So,
What's going up, I mean, their fees are increasing this year, but what's going up is we've got increased enforcement. So we've got increased law enforcement, we've got increased animal control enforcement and increased code enforcement, which means that there's more work on the municipal court side. We've also had increased issues on the city side, just different issues that we have had to use our attorney for.
any questions? Okay, we're going to convene the meeting into executive session at 6:50. Pursuant to Texas Government Code, annotated as chapter 551, subchapter D, Texas Open Meeting Act. City Commission will recess into executive session, closed meeting to discuss the following: real property, 551.072, deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Parkland, 1305 West First, 1005 East Elm, 601 North Harvey, 305 West Second, 907 North Shelton, 303 West Third.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Reconvene into open session at 7:10 PM. Is there any action taken?
I move to approve Bob Edelman bid for the property located at 1305 West First, Mountain Heights Edition, Block 16, Lot 18, and authorize the city manager to finalize and sign all documents necessary to finalize the sale of the property.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to approve Cody Wimberly's bid for the property located at 1005 East Elm, East Breckenridge Edition, Block P, Lot 17 and 18, and authorize the city manager to finalize and sign all documents necessary to finalize the sale of the property.
Second.
All in favor?
I move to approve Jeffrey Skidmore's bid for the property located at 601 North Harvey, Mountain Heights Edition, Block 15, Lot 1, East 40 feet of 2, and authorize the city manager to finalize and sign all documents necessary to finalize the sale of this property.
Second.
All in favor?
I move to approve Cody Wimberly's bid for the property located at 305 West Second, Rose Lawn Edition, Block 3, Lot 3, and authorize the city manager to finalize and sign all documents necessary to finalize the sale of this property.
Second.
All in favor?
Last one. I move to approve Kristen Harrison's bid for the property located at 303 West Third Street, Rose Lawn Edition, Block 4, Lot 15, and authorize the city manager to finalize and sign all documents necessary to finalize the sale of this property.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Do we have any requests from commissioner meeting, members or staff for items to be placed on the next meeting agenda?
Sure.
Okay, at this time, we're going to adjourn at 7:12 PM. Reconvene into open session at 7:10 PM. Is there any action taken?
I move to approve Bob Edelman bid for the property located at 1305 West First, Mountain Heights Edition, Block 16, Lot 18, and authorize the city manager to finalize and sign all documents necessary to finalize the sale of the property.
Second.
All in favor?
I move to approve Cody Wimberly's bid for the property located at 1005 East Elm, East Breckenridge Edition, Block P, Lot 17 and 18, and authorize the city manager to finalize and sign all documents necessary to finalize the sale of the property.
Second.
All in favor?
I move to approve Jeffrey Skidmore's bid for the property located at 601 North Harvey, Mountain Heights Edition, Block 15, Lot 1, East 40 feet of 2, and authorize the city manager to finalize and sign all documents necessary to finalize the sale of this property.
Second.
All in favor?
I move to approve Cody Wimberly's bid for the property located at 305 West Second, Rose Lawn Edition, Block 3, Lot 3, and authorize the city manager to finalize and sign all documents necessary to finalize the sale of this property.
Second.
All in favor?
Last one. I move to approve Kristen Harrison's bid for the property located at 303 West Third Street, Rose Lawn Edition, Block 4, Lot 15, and authorize the city manager to finalize and sign all documents necessary to finalize the sale of this property.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Do we have any requests from commissioner meeting, members or staff for items to be placed on the next meeting agenda?
Sure.
Okay, at this time, we're gonna adjourn at 7:12 PM.